warm rays from the rising sun pierce through the cold morning air of the forest. Orel kneels before a freshly made grave, before touching his right hand to his forehead and back down again. Rest in peace, my brother. He tightens the bandage on his left shoulder as he grimaces. The kid had one hell of a sword arm. It seems that Khalid has not been slacking on training new blood. He picks up his broken red mask from the ground. He sighs as he realizes that it is going to have to be fixed. He thinks on the geography of the area, but he has not been near Cormia for decades now. If his memory serves, Millstone should be close, and he would find a decent blacksmith there. He raises one hand and loudly whistles for his mount. Aspen, a midnight black calamite, charges out of the woods to her master's beckons. Aspen was always a sight for Orel's sore eyes. They say calamites are the most beautiful of the horse breeds, as well as being the fastest. Orel was skeptical at first, but Aspen soon proved him wrong. He had received it as a gift from a sultan in the Kalim Desert when he was sent there to stop a local rebellion. He exhales a long breath. Those were much simpler times back then. Taking one more moment of silence at the grave, he mounts his stallion as they start traveling. He had hoped it would be easier this time, but he couldn't have been more wrong. The first time he had killed a shadow, it haunted him for weeks. He couldn't sleep and had little appetite. Of course, it didn't help that this kid was so young. Alas, this had to be done, and he would have to be the one to finish the rest. Intel suggested that there were possible activities believed to have been conducted by Shadow near Hulak Forest. That would be his next stop, right after Millstone. The sun was almost directly above Orel when he saw Millstone in view, and it was just how he remembered it. A quaint little village, Millstone was far from the forefront of the war, although, obviously, there were some changes to keep up with the times. A small wall was constructed around the town, as well as a small garrison. He rides through the gates and is stopped by soldiers, asking for identification. Orel flashes a Lord's Alliance badge before giving them the relevant papers. He was Amil al-Mushana, sent by the Lord's Alliance on a mission of the utmost importance. The papers specified that Amil should not be searched under any circumstances. The Lord's Alliance has quite a reputation in this part of the country, and the soldiers let him through without a hitch. Riding through this small village road, he recounts the last time he was here. He was chasing an assassin that had murdered the local lord. Those were different times, when he still fought under the Cormirian banner. He stops in front of Chandler Forge, amazed that it hasn't changed a bit. Marcus Chandler made the best greatswords for hundreds of miles around. Even though he could be receiving exorbitant amounts in the city, he preferred the quaint countryside. Orel always thought he was wasting his potential out here, where men who bought swords often left it gathering dust above a mantelpiece or on a wall. Sir, can I help you, sir? A middle-aged man coming out from the blacksmith shop breaks his flow of thought. Yes, can I speak to Marcus? Orel hastily responds. Marcus, do you mean my father? He met the gods 20 years ago, passed peacefully in his sleep. Reality hit Orel like a bucket of cold water. He always forgot how old he truly was, and Marcus was not young when they had met. Forgive me. Orel apologizes as he dismounts his horse. You are the man I'm looking for then. Can you fix this? Orel hands over the broken red mask. The man studies it with a magnifying glass. It's a mithril meteorite alloy, he exclaims. Orel nodded as he understood the man's surprise. Not only were the two metals rare and valuable, they had contradictory properties. Mithril was a great conductor for the channeling of magical energy, while meteorite dust completely blocked it. Can't do nothing about this, sir, the man says as he looks away. Afraid you came to the wrong place. Hi, Orel responds. I never caught your name. Oliver. Well, Oliver, I knew your father, Marcus, and he was one of the greatest blacksmiths I ever knew. Look at this. Orel draws his greatsword and puts it on the table. Your father made this for me. I'm sure you recognize his handiwork. Are you absolutely certain there's nothing you can do with the mask? Nothing at all to aid me? The man looks at the sword closely before deciding that Orel was telling the truth. Look, I might have some mithril in the back I can use to fix up this mask with. Not I can do about meteorite powder. Good man. More mithril would disrupt the balance of his mask, but it would have to do for now. The blacksmith informs Orel that the mask would be ready come sundown. That worked out well for Orel, for he was in great need of rest. He finds a nearby tavern, the Green Flagon, and enters inside. He flips a gold coin to the stable hand, taking his horse to the back as he enters the establishment. The small inn was modest, but gave a warm and cozy feel as it was well furnished. Plopping a small pouch of coins on the tavern keeper's counter, he asks for a room. The innkeep tosses him the keys as she pockets the pouch. On the third floor, his room was small, containing only a bed and a desk, with a window facing the road. However, sleeping in clean sheets beats a night out in the woods any day. Even though he was exhausted, he tossed and turned in his bed, unable to fall into the sweet bliss of rest. Avio's face as he bled out kept coming back to him. The kid was young indeed, but well trained. There were very few men on the continent who could make Orel bleed. What would that boy have become if they had never met? Orel ponders. Would he have died in the field of battle with honor, or tossed out like Orel when he was no longer useful? Or perhaps he would have ended up like Harid, spending the rest of his life finding and training new recruits. He groans. His body needed to rest, but his mind was not letting him sleep. He takes out his medicine kit as he prepares to brew a sleeping draught. Why has Avio's death affected him so heavily? He had killed dozens of men without a blink. Why Avio, and why now? Maybe there was something different about killing a shadow that felt intrinsically wrong to him, seeing a man of such great skill and prowess die. Maybe it was the fact that he normally killed his enemies from afar with a longbow, where he never saw them take their last breath as they died in his arms. Or maybe it was because there will always seem to be a good reason to kill, whether it was to rid the world of a scourge or to save the lives of innocents. No, that couldn't be it. His reasons for killing were clear. He couldn't be having doubts now, could he? He steels his resolve as he downs the sleeping draught. No, he can't forget what Cormia has done to him. Unfortunately, that meant that men like Avio had to die because they were in the way. All of the shadows would have to die for the plan to succeed. Feeling the effects of the sleeping potion come over him, he was unconscious within minutes. This epilogue serves as a short transition from the series Death of a Shadow to the series Shadows Fall. My name is Hussam Al-Din, and please join me next time and tune into the Cormyrean Preservation Society for the prologue to Shadows Fall.